Though Sandy Smith and her supporters among the townspeople were able to defeat and drive out the invading protesters, a lot of property was damaged and many people were injured in the riot that was caused, including Eric Sterling, the first person the protesters attacked. So how long will I have to be here?
The doctors said you can be released tomorrow, but you will have to stay home for a few days after that. You got a pretty bad concussion from that sign being smacked on your head.
I'm glad you were there to get me out of that mess. Meanwhile, on the Rush Scumpa show. Several hours ago, in the town ruled with an iron fist by the socialist mayor Sandy Smith, an attempt was made to organize a protest against her. Despite the considerable popular support for the protests, Mayor Smith called her most fanatical followers, who then attacked the protesters and broke them up. So, does the mayor think the First Amendment has somehow been repealed in her town? And that injuring people and destroying property is acceptable when people speak out against her?
What the hell is he talking about? He wasn't there, was he? We were. Those protesters had no business being in our town. They attacked us. How can he lie like that? Unfortunately, the First Amendment's guarantee of freedom of speech allows him to lie outright without fear of being arrested and jailed. That's why offenses like slander and libel are civil rather than criminal in nature. The only way one can punish an offender in this case is by suing him. And people like him actually lie so much that suing him for his lies would be a laborious effort. And those who follow him end up brainwashed with a completely distorted view of reality. Almost like what you would see in a cult.
Sandy Smith is making a broadcast of her own on her town's YouTube channel.
I wish to thank all the good people of the town that came in response to my calls to defend it from the invaders. A careful analysis of photos taken of the protesters makes clear that most of them were not residents of the town, but had been bussed in by the former mayor, Ted Anderson, as a publicity stunt to promote himself and to send a clear message to us not to continue to support liberal political and economic policies. This is a political map of our town and all the surrounding areas, including the various towns near ours. As you can see, our town is like an island of blue surrounded by a sea of red. And of course, Texas has been a red state for decades. Why are they so fearful of us for rejecting conservative politics and wanting to try something else? Could it be they know their politics are morally bankrupt and want to make sure other towns do not follow our example once they see our policies working to make the lives of our people better? This town has a natural right to decide its own leadership, and it is the height of arrogance for outsiders to interfere.
As you ordered, the mess the protesters made is completely cleaned up. And yes, some of that mess was brown stuff from the human body.
I'm sorry you had to deal with all that stuff. You may go home now. I will close the restaurant for the rest of the evening.
Thank you. See you tomorrow, Lucy.